All right, guys, I want to take a sec to talk to you about a few things and just kind of get your wheels turning in your head. Hopefully, help sort out your own stuff a little bit better, and or just communicate your issues to me. What I want to touch on is basically, I'm sure plenty of you have heard me reference the joints as a site of tug of war between all the different muscles that attach around it. What you can also think of it as is a job site. We got a crew on this site. They all have different tasks. Some of them have the same tasks and they work together. Other ones have the opposing tasks that work against, some of the other ones. So what we need to think about whenever I have an issue around a joint is that, let's just say my shoulder or my hip are hurting, and I can sort of narrow it down to one or two muscles. Then we can kind of look at the function of those muscles. Am I still able to complete the function of those muscles? And if so, is it bothersome to that particular muscle? Because that could mean that some of the function of that muscle has been lost, of the surrounding muscles, and that particular muscle that's bothersome is just being overly worked because of the lack of the effort from one or more of the other muscles. So what I'm getting at here is, like, we talk about hip flexor and different things like that. My cuff muscle is not one thing. It's a group of muscles that serve a purpose, that work together. Whenever they're not working together well, that creates a lot of issues for the other muscles. Sometimes they can pick up slack for a little while, but eventually the compensation patterns are going to become too much. That's when we get wear and tear. That's when we get inflammation, and you just think like, oh, I got this, this one thing, but you're not even looking at the source of what the actual issue is. So some of the things I've seen here recently, a lot of glute med dominance and just hypertonicity. So whenever a muscle's hypertonic, it just means that it's clenched really tight. It's kind of in spasm, and you don't necessarily feel that. My glute meds are always overly toned. I don't feel it walking around. Now, whenever I go at it with something like a so right or lacrosse ball or an elbow, I definitely feel that. What does that mean? The glute med is a hip abductor. It's also internal, external rotation depending on the position, so on and so forth. Without getting overly technical here, basically, if you have a muscle that's overactive, it's going to be drawing away from something, whether it be one of its antagonist muscles and or one of its synergistic muscles that fulfill the same purpose. So I'm going to make a separate video on a couple things I've been addressing here lately with people. I'm also going to include a screenshot that I posted a little while back just to help give you a general idea of what some of the muscles do, where they originate, where they insert, and different things like that. So you can kind of conceptualize this a little bit better rather than just listening to me ramble at you. So this is the first of a few things that will hopefully give you a better perspective. And like I said, the better you communicate with me, the better I communicate with you, the faster we can get you healed up. I need you guys educated. I need you portraying things to me, and that way, hopefully, whenever I talk to you, a bit more of it makes sense rather than just being extremely confusing. So I'm doing this shit for you guys. I love you guys. Hopefully, we can get everyone healthy, moving better, feeling better, and putting more pounds on the bar.